In this video, Spanish nationality law and the path to citizenship in Spain. Today we're diving into a topic that has piqued the interest of many, how to get that coveted Spanish passport and how you can become a Spanish citizen. Whether you're thinking of moving to Spain or you have Spanish heritage or are just curious about the legal process, this video is for you. So grab a cup of café con leche and let's get started. So to kick things off, what is Spanish nationality? What do we mean by that? Nationality is essentially your legal connection to a country, and it's really nationality or citizenship that is what gets you that Spanish passport. In Spain, being a national means more than just living here. It gives you the right to vote, access social services, work freely across the EU, and travel without a visa to many countries around the world. But how do you get Spanish nationality? Well, there are different paths, some straightforward and some that take time. There's many paths. So let's go over the key ones in this video. Spain offers several pathways to citizenship depending on your situation. These include by birth, by descent, by marriage, by naturalization, and by special circumstances. Okay? So first let's talk about citizenship by birth and descent. One of the most straightforward ways to acquire Spanish nationality is by birth. If you were born in Spain to at least one Spanish parent, you're automatically a citizen. But Spain also follows the principle of jus sanguinis, meaning right of blood, so even if you were born outside of Spain, you might still be eligible for citizenship if you have Spanish ancestors. Now, there are a few things to keep in mind. If you're claiming Spanish citizenship by descent, you usually need to be within 2 generations of Spanish-born relatives, such as your parents or grandparents. Also, keep in mind that Spain requires you to formalize your claim to citizenship before you turn 20 years old, so it's important to act quickly if you're eligible. Now let's talk about citizenship by marriage. What happens if you marry a Spaniard? Well, another way to Spanish citizenship is through marriage. If you're married to a Spanish citizen, you can apply for citizenship after just 1 year of legal residency in Spain. And again, that's legal residency in Spain, meaning you would have to be a legal resident of Spain and reside in Spain for a year, okay? So if you marry a Spaniard but you're living somewhere else in the world, that's not going to get you that Spanish passport. You actually have to become a legal resident of Spain and live there for at least a year and pass the majority of that year, 6+ months, but realistically probably 9+ months of that year in Spain. Okay? Being married doesn't automatically grant you citizenship. You need to meet residency and other requirements first. And I know what you're thinking. Does this mean that Spain offers one of the shortest residency periods in the world for naturalization through marriage? Well, before you run off and find a Spanish spouse, there's more to consider. Next, let's talk about citizenship by naturalization. In other words, the residency path, okay? For most people, the naturalization process is the most viable way to become a Spanish citizen. To start, you must live in Spain as a legal resident. The standard timeline for this is 10 years, and here's the good part, there are several groups of people that can fast track that process, okay? Latin Americans, Andorrans, Filipinos, Equatorial Guineans, and Sephardic Jews only need to pass 2 years in Spain. Refugees also only need to pass 5 years in Spain, okay? So for normal people, Americans, Canadians, Brits, it's going to be 10 years, or people from Latin American countries and countries with, historic Latin ties due to colonialism and so forth, it's only 2 years, which is pretty crazy. And while 10 years might seem like a long time, Spain offers a pretty generous residency program. As a resident, you can work, study, and enjoy all the benefits of living in Spain, like access to healthcare and education. After 10 years, you can then apply for citizenship. There's also another catch here, which is, and this is a very complicated topic, which is dual citizenship. So Spain does not allow dual citizenship with most countries. So if you decide to become Spanish, you will have to renounce your current nationality, unless you're from one of the countries we mentioned that has a special agreement with Spain, meaning a dual citizenship treaty, okay? Now, there's a lot of talk out there about, do you actually have to renounce, or is it simply a ceremonial renunciation? And that's a topic for another video. But just so you know, just summarizing, for people from Latin American countries, 2 years to citizenship is incredible. 10 years for Americans, Canadians, Europeans, and everyone else, I get that doesn't seem very attractive, but 2 years to citizenship for Latinos is huge. That means if you're Mexican or Colombian or Argentine and you move to Spain, you can become a Spanish citizen in only 2 years, get that EU passport, which has a load of benefits, including visa-free access to the USA and much, much more. So I think for Latinos, this is an absolute no-brainer. I think every Latino should basically move to Spain at some point in their life, live there for 2 years, and apply for citizenship. Let's also mention a little bit about some special circumstances in Sephardic Jews. I do know people who have actually gone this route and been successful in getting citizenship in Spain and also in Portugal with Sephardic Jewish ancestry. So Spain has opened the pathways for certain groups based on historical or special circumstances. For example, in recent years, Spain has allowed descendants of Sephardic Jews, those whose ancestors were expelled during the Inquisition, a chance to reclaim Spanish nationality. This program was incredibly popular when it was launched, and though it has specific requirements like proving your ancestry and having a connection to Spain, the window apparently closed in 2019, but there's been talk of it reopening, reclosing. So it's something that if you have that Sephardic Jewish ancestry, something to keep an eye on, something to talk to a lawyer about, and see if there's still a pathway to citizenship for you there. Okay? Now let's talk about the requirements for naturalization. So once you've passed your 10 years or your 2 years in Spain as a legal resident, now you can naturalize. What are you going to need to make that happen? So you're going to need legal residency for the required period of time, as we've talked about. You're going to need a clean criminal record, proof of financial stability, basic knowledge of the Spanish language. You'll have to pass a Spanish cultural test known as the CCSE exam. And you're going to have to take an oath of allegiance to Spain. Now, I'll quickly break down that cultural test known as the CCSE exam. It covers the basic knowledge of Spain's government, society, and history. And don't worry, it's not overly difficult, but it is important to study and something that you need to be aware of. And you need to, plan a little bit in advance of and start studying in advance, okay? Because if you don't pass that test, it'll kind of block or gum up your entire citizenship process. Speaking of the process for applying, let's talk about that. Once you meet the requirements, you'll need to fill your application with the Spanish Civil Registry. This includes submitting all your paperwork, attending an interview, and proving that you meet the language and cultural knowledge requirements. From there, the process can take months, sometimes even longer than a year, depending on where you live in Spain and how quickly things move. If you look at the numbers in 2024, I think I saw something like there are hundreds of thousands of open citizenship applications that Spain is working on filing, and there are tens of thousands of people applying every year. I think because there's just more and more information on the internet now, more and more people are seeing the value of dual citizenship and of acquiring passports. That's probably why you watch My Latin Life to begin with. You probably understand that more and more people are applying. And so this is the kind of thing that as soon as you're eligible, put in your application, because literally every day or every week that you procrastinate on this, there's hundreds of people getting their application in ahead of you, and it's just gonna, you're just gonna be that much further at the back of the line. So once you're eligible, submit your thing ASAP, because it's gonna take a certain amount of time, probably longer than a year, to process. I've heard of it taking 6 months, and it's a little bit luck of the draw, but be prepared for it to take longer than a year to get accepted. So it's not like once you hit the 2 years as a Latino, boom, 2 years and 1 day you get a passport in your hand. It's still going to take a while. So let's talk about the benefits of Spanish citizenship. We touched on this a little bit before, the ability to travel in the EU, vote, work. So why go through all the effort of getting Spanish citizenship? Well, the benefits are honestly huge. First, you'll become an EU citizen, which means you can live, work, and travel freely within the European Union. So even if maybe your ultimate goal is to move to, I don't know, Germany or somewhere else in Europe as a Latino, this is your fastest path to citizenship. So you might as well get the Spanish citizenship, and then you can hop to the next country after that. Other benefits include getting access to Spain's public health care, education, the pension system, and of course the right to vote in Spanish elections. We also talked about access to the United States, visa-free access to Canada, probably increased access to Asia and other countries around the world in terms of your visa-free travel, right? And then the ability to pass on Spanish citizenship to your kids and even your grandkids if you structure things correctly. Spanish citizenship offers incredible opportunities, but the process can be long and complex. Whether you're claiming citizenship through your family, marriage, or by spending years in this beautiful country, it's important to understand the rules and requirements. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to My Latin Life for more content on Spain, Latin America, living abroad, legal processes, and second passports. And if you're interested in getting residency in Spain, we can help, particularly with the golden visa as well as the non-lucrative visa. Those are probably the top ones I recommend to most foreigners looking to get residency in Spain. So check out some of our other videos and check out MyLatinLife.com, where you can look at some of the options that we recommend for getting residency in Spain and putting you on the path to a Spanish passport. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you enjoyed this video or if you have experience with Spanish naturalization processes, and we'll catch you in the next video.